Hey, Giants fans, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. If you love the Giants, but you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. We're on the road here to 3,000 subscribers. So if you can help us get there, that would be an absolute blessing. Maybe about a week ago, there was a rumor going around that the Giants were operating as if they will not be drafting a QB in round one. Ward going to Tennessee seems like a lock, and it still does. Shador going to Cleveland at 2. So that's why the Giants are operating as if they were not selecting a QB at 1. But that was just a rumor. That didn't come from a Giants beat writer. It didn't come from Adam Schefter. If anything, Adam Schefter's been saying if the Giants love Sanders, that they're going to go Sanders at 3 if he's there. They're going Sanders at, that's all you've been hearing. Mel Kiper, same thing. That's all you've been hearing. Well, beat writer Ryan Dunleavy, around the same time of the rumor that the Giants are operating as if they will not be drafting a QB in round 1, Ryan Dunleavy, this was before the Russell Wilson signing, said that people around the NFL are beginning to think that the Giants might be planning to go with Jameis, another vet QB, now that's Wilson, and a rookie not drafted at 3 and is more developmental. So far, 2 of those 3 things happened. So far. But as I said, Adam Schefter constantly saying, if the Giants love Sanders, they're going Sanders at 3. Well, this is what Schefter recently said on the Pat McAfee show.
And it certainly feels like the Cleveland Browns are inclined to look elsewhere aside from quarterback. And it's starting to feel like the New York Giants at number 3 are starting to look elsewhere other than quarterback. So if the Browns don't take Shador Sanders at 2, and if the Giants don't take Shador Sanders at 3, and that is the feel that I'm getting recently, where is Shador Sanders going?
Listen, that doesn't shock me one bit. You could want a franchise QB so damn bad. I want a franchise QB on this Giant team. I want a franchise QB too. Believe me, I do. I want one. But you can't force it. You can't force it. Last year, the Giants liked Penix. They liked McCarthy. Guess what they did? They drafted the best player available. That was Malik Nabers. They're going to do the same thing in this draft. I'm telling you, I've been shouting it from the rooftop since January. And this is no shade on Shador Sanders as a player, but when you have, and I would say the same thing to Tennessee, when you have 2 players like Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, 2 almost can't miss talents, how on earth are you going to pass up on these guys? How can you? That doesn't make any sense. And that's where, honestly, I trust Joe Schoen. I trust him to go best player available because he did that last year. And yes, we needed a receiver, but he went and he got best player available. And I guarantee you he's going to do that this time around. Because guess what, everyone? You want Sanders? Fine. We could maybe get him and trade back into the first round. I think there's a very great chance that Sanders falls down that board, and now you're like at pick 21 at where Pittsburgh is picking. Peter Piper picked a pepper where Pittsburgh is picking. And then maybe Pitt takes him at 21. Of course, New Orleans could take him. I believe they have the 9th pick. They could maybe take him. I could see, and I think the Giants see this too, Sanders falling. So why take Sanders at 3 when you could go and get the best player available? And that's going to be Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Whichever one Cleveland does not pick, the Giants will get that guy. Because Cam Ward is going 1. And if Shador, I mean, listen, I don't hate Shador. I think he could be a good player. I just don't think he's this franchise QB, this transcending talent. Because if he was, he's going 1 to Tennessee. And guess what? He's not. They're going to go Cam. We want this franchise QB in the worst way, and I understand it. But don't force it at 3 if you don't have to. Don't force it, please. I'm begging you. Gettleman did that years ago with Daniel Jones. He forced it. He forced it at 6. And yes, we got Sexy Dexy in that same draft. Thank God we did. But they tried doing that once before. Please don't do that again. Just take the best player available at 3. This is very different. This draft is very different. If the Giants had the 4th or 5th pick even, I would say, hey, if you want Sanders, go Sanders, because I know that Hunter and Carter would be off the board by that point. So if you want Sanders, then okay, then go and get him. But not when you have 2 talents like Hunter and Carter potentially being there at 3. If they're not there at 3, guess what? They're not taking Sanders either. They're going to take Cam Ward, because that would mean Hunter would go 1 or 2 and Carter, he'd go 1 or 2. So then Cam Ward, who's supposedly the best QB available in the draft, Giants would go Ward. I have nothing against Sanders. I don't. But what I'm saying is you have 2 talents basically can't miss in Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. Why on earth would you pick a QB with the 3rd pick in the draft if they are not a franchise-altering QB? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. And if you think that the Giants should take Sanders at 3, that's fine. That's fine. I just can't see this team missing out on a talent like Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. I can't see them do it. That's tough for me to wrap my mind around. I can't see that. I can't see that happening. And as I said earlier, I think Joe Schoen is going to go and get the best player available. Joe Schoen said it himself recently. He said the team is set up where they don't have to take a QB. He literally just said this a couple of days ago. I made a video on it. The Giants are he literally told you that they're set up to not take a QB. A lot of the Giants beat writers said to some, Shane sounded like someone who would not draft who would draft a non-QB at 3. Shane said, and I quote, "We're in a position where we can take who we think is the best player at that time." Guys, they're not taking a QB at 3. They're just not. Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter will be a New York Giant. And if not, then Cam Ward is a Giant, because that means Ward did not go 1. And if Hunter and Carter are off the board by 3. So regardless, the Giants, if they end up with Sanders, it's because they traded back up into the 1st round, and I am not against that one bit. Just do not pass up on a talent like Carter or Hunter. Please don't.